Hola, buenas. I am unbelievably excited to start this new series here in Venezuela, a country with so much natural beauty, amazing people, and good food. But with that, there are also issues here, just like anywhere else in the world. And in this series, I don't want to sugarcoat it. This is somewhere I would recommend people to come to, but be cautious. And if you have friends who are from here, stick with them and listen to their advice. Before we begin, let's have a bit of a history lesson to get you up to speed. Hugo Chavez led Venezuela from 1999 until his death in 2013, balancing popular policies with economic mismanagement. After Chavez, his vice president Nicolás Maduro took over. The country heavily relied on oil, and when prices dropped, Venezuela's economy suffered due to mismanagement, corruption, and a lack of diverse planning. Maduro's leadership faced protests and accusations of unfair elections, leading to political instability. This sparked an economic crisis with hyperinflation and widened the gap between the rich and the poor. In essence, a mix of economic, political, and leadership challenges led Venezuela to its current tough situation. It's therefore sad to see that this beautiful part of the world, which still has so much potential, has some places in disrepair. I have a lot of respect and love for the people of Venezuela and feel honored I had the opportunity to be a guest in their wonderful country. Without any further ado, let's get started. Empecemos. During the time of this trip, which was in September, there were no direct flights from Madrid to Isla Margarita, which meant I needed to fly from Madrid to Caracas, which is the capital, and then from Caracas to Isla Margarita. I had been told by my friend that the airport in Caracas is so dangerous that if I need to speak to anyone for directions, I should avoid speaking to anyone with a military uniform and only talk with the elderly. Imagine that. I've just arrived in this country. There are armed military everywhere, and I've been told that I cannot trust those walking around with submachine guns. I was not comfortable with this situation at all. To be honest with you though, I had absolutely no problems going from the international airport to the national one, and everyone was very polite and respectful. I think the general rule is don't be an idiot. Show respect and try to speak your best Spanish. Waking up on the first day, I went out to the roof and got myself locked out. There's a turtle down here somewhere. Found him before. Oh, there he is. There he is, look. Little turtle just chilling. Adorable. There's the cat. Cute. And then over here, you can see the sea just in the distance. My friend and I went to a beautiful little place that made homemade empanadas right on the beach. We're in Muelle de Pampatar. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Behind us here, we have a restaurant we just went to, and I had a empanada. It was massive. It was beautiful, really, really nice. It had pabellón in it, and it also had carne, just meat and a bunch of other stuff. It had some banana in there. It was great. So behind me, you can see where we just came from. We've driven just up the road, and here we've got this most beautiful view behind us. It's very tropical here. The humidity is unbelievable. So as you can see here, we have the original cannons that have been here for absolutely ages. So you can imagine if a ship was coming in here and we're trying to get to the beach just here, we've got the cannon facing directly there. And there's a few more around here as well. You've got this one right here. There is a bunch down there as well. Look how beautiful the color of that sea is. Ooh. So you can see there's a number of boats here, and actually the reason why these boats are here is they're all out there fishing. And the interesting thing is you can see all of these birds here. I believe they're heron. I'm not 100% sure, but if you look at how many birds are out there, you know that there's going to be a lot of fish there. That's why they're there. So I'm going to try and not scare them off, but right in front of me I've got 3 vultures. I've never seen a wild vulture before, so for me this is absolutely fascinating. They're massive. Oh no, they're flying off already. I'm going to spin around. You can see there's 2 up here. There was 3 before. So this beach behind me is actually $1 in order to stay there for the day. This is funny because on this side we have the beach for the people, and then just on the other side here you can see the water is a lot calmer, and the reason why is this is where the fish are. So you can do your fishing on this side and you chill out on the beach on the other side, and they're actually selling fish just up here, so I'm going to show you that right now. The fishermen come in after a haul and the fish are sold right here. We then made our way to Playa Escondida, which literally means hidden beach. I was informed that those that come here tend to come here for extracurricular activities, if you know what I mean. And this is my first time touching the Caribbean Sea since I arrived. So this little beach here is very secluded. It's absolutely beautiful. I haven't got the right equipment today to be going in the sea, but I've touched it. We then moved on to a lighthouse known as Faro Punta Ballena, which is the Whale Point Lighthouse in English. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the sea, we've got the beach, and then just on the other side here, this is the salt plain. So this is where they gather the salt from in order to refine it and then deposit it. You might not be able to see this, but behind us you can actually see the mainland a tiny little bit. So that's the mainland over there. We're on the island right now. We're going to make our way all the way to the top. According to this sign in here, I'll show you, there's Iglesia de Cristo de Buen Beato. But as you can see, there is absolutely no church. This next one is the archipelago of Los Frailes. Just outside the lighthouse we have these little signs here, and it tells you the distance in nautical miles from the location. So here we have Londres, which is London, 2,300. We also have Cadiz here in Spain. That's pretty cool. And here we have Castillo San Carlos de Borromeo, which is a 17th century fortress built by the Spanish colonial authorities in Pampatar. It was built to defend against pirates. It offers strategic views of the Caribbean Sea. The castle, which is actually named after Saint Charles Borromeo, features thick walls and has been restored for tourism, providing visitors with a glimpse into the historical significance and stunning vistas. We headed over to Avenida Aldonza Manrique coconut bar for a quick drink. I had never had a coconut like this before. It was absolutely delicious and very cold. Exactly what I needed in this tropical heat. There was a woman selling mangoes on the side of the road, so we decided to stop and buy some for breakfast. It was $2 for all of these. So the name of this place is Plaza Asuncion. This is this square, the main square in this little town. Absolutely beautiful. You can see the color of the buildings. It's just so nice here. Really nice environment, you know, really hot though. So as you can see behind me, it says Museo Nueva Caribe. And the reason why is when the Spanish initially arrived here in Latin America, they landed on Isla Margarita, and the island was actually originally named the New Cadiz. So Cadiz being the place from Spain, so that's what they called it. And now it's changed, of course, and it's now called Isla Margarita. It's currently closed, this building, but I just thought I'd mention it and show you it as we are here. Here is a museum dedicated to the Virgin Mary. That museum is actually a dedication to the Virgin Mary. It's very interesting because, of course, Venezuela being a Catholic country, there's a big focus on Maria. And for those who are of Church of England know that there's less of a focus on Mary. So it's really nice to see a big focus and a kind of respect for Maria and the Virgin, and seeing from a different perspective, I guess you could say. So yeah, really interesting, really nice. And there was a lady in there who walked us around and showed us all the different artworks. If I'm honest, I was a little bit apprehensive about about showing these because if I saw them in Europe, I would say they are quite offensive. But I was told that they are known as margariteñas and represent the women of Isla Margarita. They are known for their vibrant colors and exaggerated features, as you can see. Unfortunately, this castle is closed behind us, but what I wanted to point out is that these beautiful castles are dotted all around the island. But their purpose, of course, is when the Spanish came here, they built them in order to fortify the island here on Isla Margarita. We finished our first full day by going to the food cart and having some fried chicken. It was to die for. Because of the political situation in Venezuela, the people use dollars and sometimes will accept euros. I made a fatal error and brought my Revolut card, which is not supported in Venezuela. Thankfully, my friend helped me and I simply transferred the money to her. But please do your own research before you travel to this beautiful country. Make sure that your bank is functional in Venezuela. Prices are on par with those of Europe, which is fine for someone coming from Europe, but I can only imagine the struggle to afford to live if you are someone living in Venezuela on a much lower salary. Waking up the next day, we went out for pastelitos and empanadas. I don't think I need to tell you how good the food is here in Venezuela. And the weirdest thing is, coming back from this trip, even though I ate like a king, I actually lost weight. Now I have absolutely no evidence for this, but I think it's just because of the brutal heat. And our first beach today is Manzanillo. So the beach we're on right now is at the north part of the island. And being on the north part, it means that the sea is much rougher, which is the reason why you can see how big the waves are here. Absolutely massive. And they're even bigger actually on the northeast corner, which we were at before. We're actually going to be checking that beach out a bit later. You can see the water's like turquoise in color. It's very strange though, there's not many tourists here, there's not many people visiting. You can see that this is the kind of place people should be visiting, really. It's a real shame that there's not. There seems to be a lot of people around, not just here, but also as we were coming around to the northeast part, people trying to stop you in the cars to say, look, come in, eat here, or stay at our beach. Basically, they need money, and it's totally understandable. A really difficult situation that they're in. But it's really sad to see because you can see how much natural beauty there is here. It's such a beautiful place. I feel very honored to have the opportunity to be here. As we make our way around this mountain, here we are now at Puerto Constanza. Really nice, it's just a viewpoint basically from here. So again, still in the northern part, making our way round to the west. And here we are overlooking Hotel Esperia. If you look just beyond the hotel, you can see the old golf course. Unfortunately, it's no longer open and you can see how dry and unkempt it now looks. And again, look at the little bay there, the turquoise water. Wow. Amazing. Moving on, we make our way to Zaragoza. It amazes me how these beaches aren't jammed packed full of people, and yet they are so beautiful. If we make a basic comparison between this and Italy, it's unbelievable. Again, no disrespect to Italian beaches, they are absolutely beautiful, but there is often way too many people, and every square inch of the beach has been squeezed with sunbeds to maximize profit. Just a reminder on that one as well, we're talking specifically about the Amalfi Coast, which is in reference to the previous series. I'm sure there's plenty of places in Italy that are a lot more affordable. It just so happens on the Amalfi Coast, it's extortionate. Now we are in Fortin de la Galera, which has the most breathtaking views on all angles. For lunch, we went to Terraza Bayside and had some healthy eating, a nice soup and some fresh fish, and panela on the side, which for those that don't know is basically sugar cane juice, very typical of Latin America. In the afternoon, we went to the local church. So we're just leaving the church now. One thing to point out here that's really interesting is that they've got this Mary there. And what they do is per year, they replace the dress on Mary, and it costs a lot of money. So what people do is they contribute basically different garments in order to dress the Mary, the Maria. Finally, a few of my friends' friends had gone fishing, so we went to see them for a little bit before the sun set. Sunsets in this part of the world, just like any other close to the equator, sets at roughly 6 p.m. all year round, which feels very odd when you compare to Europe, where in summers we have days when the sun sets very late and winters when the sun sets much earlier. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one where we continue our adventure here in Venezuela. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Hola, buenas. Welcome to this second video here in Venezuela, Isla Margarita. As you would imagine, in this idealistic part of the world, there is no better place to be than the beach. You're about to see a lot of them in this episode, which spans 4 days. So without any further ado, let's get started. Empecemos. For those that don't know, I don't typically drink alcohol. I'm not opposed to it, and I'm happy to surround myself with those that do drink. I just choose not to. That being said, Venezuela doesn't really cater for those that don't drink. I therefore had a tough time finding non-alcoholic counterparts, to the point where I actually came out with a crate of non-alcoholic beers for the journey here. That being said, I managed to find a shop that sold non-alcoholic Heineken, which to be honest made me very happy, because then I had beers to have when we were down the beach. We're at the sea today. As you can see, the sea is not super rough. The reason why is this is the south, and actually you can see the mainland from here as well, so that's really cool. Here we are at the Aqua Park Beach Club in Playa Concorde. I had an empanada for breakfast, and for lunch some oysters and this bowl of seafood. Now, the bowl of seafood, I'd love to be able to tell you what it's actually called, but it appears to have many names. Cóctel, rompe colchón, vuelve a la vida, siete potencias, and levanta muerto. For those that don't speak Spanish, I will repeat those names but in English. Cocktail, break mattress, come back to life, 7 powers, and wake up dead. Why? I don't know, but it was delicious and of course fresh from the sea. As mentioned before, finding a non-alcoholic drink in Venezuela is like finding a needle in a haystack. But I asked for a mojito without alcohol. I got some really weird looks, but they understood what I was looking for. It was actually really good. Effectively, we've spent the whole day at the beach. It's been absolutely amazing, absolutely beautiful here. Today has been a super chill day. My friend gave her cat an olive, and for some reason, the cat is infatuated by it. Not really relevant to my adventures here in Venezuela, but it made me laugh. So I thought I'd keep it here for you guys. Okay, so something to explain about this point in our adventure. We started to have intermittent power cuts across the whole of the region, not just the island, but some places on the mainland too. Apparently, this is not uncommon. However, what I was about to experience was around a week of on and off power cuts, something I had never experienced in my life. I mean, sure, maybe one power cut that lasted a couple of hours, but past that, usually things go back to normal. Not here. Anyway, back to the story. Okay, so we're currently just chilling out. The sun is setting, it's absolutely beautiful, but we have a power cut, and so there's nothing for us to do right now. So we're just chilling out, we're enjoying ourselves, but the view is absolutely incredible, so I can't complain. Because there was no power in my friend's flat, we decided to go to a mall where they had emergency generators to get some dinner. And check out the mall. It's really impressive, with bridges, water fountains, restaurants, bars, and shops. The name of this mall is Sunburn, which I didn't realize at the time, but we actually have this chain of malls here in Spain. That was quite funny timing there. We were literally crossing this bridge here in order to leave this mall, and all of the lights all of a sudden cut off. So we still haven't escaped the power cuts. They're still occurring, and when we get back, it will
be the same as well, so yeah.
This day was super chilled out and laid back, and I certainly felt like I was getting into the holiday vibes. Moving on to our next day now, we went to Museo Marino, or Marine Museum in English. It was pretty big and there were a lot of things to see. It was interesting to see that there were not that many people here. I thought for attractions such as this, there would be lots of people.
So this is actually a real whale, but what they've done is they painted over the top of it, but you can see how big they can get.
So I thought this was pretty freaky. This is actually in gelatin. I thought it was just in water. This has been preserved, but you can see it's completely real, and they just put it in this box. And if you look up here, you can see the droplets. So I thought, oh, okay, so they just put it in some sort of liquid, like in salt water or something. But of course, it would decompose in there, right? But crazy. You can see in here we have these different shells, but in the middle you can actually see that there's a bunch of pearls dotted around. Really cool. So as you can see, these are the roots of the trees. So the trees are coming out, but you can see here that attached to the roots, which by the way are not attached to the soil, they're just in the water. But you can see that there are a bunch of oysters attached to the roots, and this is how they collect them in order to eat them. Again, no matter where you go, they seem to have these vergens here. I keep making the mistake of saying it's Maria, but it's actually not. This is vergen de Valle, slightly different. This recording doesn't do it justice, but it is incredibly hot here. And the interesting thing is we're actually on the West Island at the moment. And on the west side, they have a much more arid climate. I don't know why the climate changes so much, but on the east side, it's a lot more humid and green. And here is more arid. But yeah, incredibly hot today.
Gracias. Hasta luego.
After leaving the museum, we headed to Parque Nacional Laguna de la Restinga. This is actually where they get their oysters from. They hang off the mangroves in this laguna. The price for my entry was $5 and $1 for my friend who is a national. Still not a bad price. When we arrived at the Playa La Restinga, or Restinga Beach, we took a seat which we got totally ripped off. We stayed there for 2 hours and the guy charged us $10. That's just for the seat. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that is insane, especially considering we were one of the only people visiting this beach and everything else was so much more affordable.
I have no idea if you guys can hear me or not, but Basically, the beach we're on right now actually connects the West Island to the East Island. So, from this side, this is the West Island, and from this side is the East Island. The way to get across from west to east is very simple now. What they've done is they've built a bridge. However, this is a natural crossing from one island to the other. Now, it's just called Isla Margarita, and within Isla Margarita, there are 2 islands. However, it's brought together as one singular island because of this beach. It's 27 kilometers of beach. 27 kilometers. Amazing. You can find me at the end of that pre-roll. Shawty record her thrills on a cell phone. I'm in a moment, I ain't worried about that B-roll. You know I'm on you. Let me get that mood boost. Fall through when the sun go down. I could tell you want me to. I just touched down in the town. Let's go OT till you OD. All these blessings at my feet, I want for anything. Hay muchas bendiciones que me falta. Things are not really done with measurements here, but basically a bucket of oysters costs $30 US. They call these buckets un tobo. I wanted to say it's a kilo of oysters, but actually I think it's quite a lot more than that. Next, we went to Playa El Yaque, which was much more touristy and famous for its kite surfing. I was actually falling asleep in the car, so I just had a quick dip in the water. It's woken me up, feel much better, and we're gonna have some lunch now. Very good. If I'm honest, I much preferred this beach. However, I can understand that the reason why is it's literally made to bring in tourists. And with that, you get much steeper prices. As you arrive, people will try to get you into their beach clubs as quickly as possible so they can capitalize on the visitors. My recommendation would be to shop around and find the prices and quality that you're looking for. The first place we went to, we were forced into a small space like sardines and given a menu that was ridiculously overpriced, none of which particularly interested us. We simply got up and left and went to another further down the beach. What we found was the prices were far more reasonable. We had much more space to ourselves and we thoroughly enjoyed the atmosphere in addition to the music. For copyright reasons, I can't play that music, but what I'm gonna do is play some similar music for you to listen to. The following day, we made our way back to Playa de Concorde. This time, we would be taking a boat from here to an island called Coche, which means car in Spanish.
Sácame a bailar, que yo tengo pena y quiero vacilar. Oye, Maranita, sácame a bailar, que yo tengo pena y quiero vacilar. Contigo, contigo y con nadie más. Contigo, contigo y con nadie más.
The name of the island we're on right now is called Coche. I tried to find out exactly why that is, and I couldn't find out. Now this island, Coche, is actually quite small. We have this beautiful beach here, and as you can see, there's a bunch of palm trees up here and hotels and bars. We got here using that boat there, that's in the background. And the trip was maybe like an hour, but apparently, in order for us to get back, it takes a little bit longer, and the reason why is we're going against the waves. So it's going to be a little bit choppier on the way back. We arrived here maybe at like 11 a.m. and we leave here at 3. So we'll probably get back at around 4:30, I guess. I must say there's one thing that's incredibly annoying here, and it's the number of people that come up to you trying to sell you stuff. There's another word I want to use rather than stuff, but I try and keep it as polite as possible. But yeah, literally everywhere you go, every 5 minutes, someone, do you want to buy this? No? No, I don't. To be honest with you, I wasn't entirely sure about whether you could record in public here. What I mean by that is I wasn't sure about the security. Now, I've been to Colombia before, and Colombia is a beautiful country. However, one thing you cannot do there is just take a camera out and start recording. Someone will try and steal it off you. Of course, it does depend on where you go in the country, but in the places I was going, mostly in Bogota, for example, you can't do that. It seems as though it's appropriate here and it's fine. It feels fairly safe here too, but of course you still have to have your wits about you. You can't just walk around and leave your stuff all over the place. This is the hotel owned by Sunburn, which is the company actually that we took the boat over with. You can see it's really beautiful here, really nice. Exactly what you'd expect from a Caribbean island. A lot of the signs appear to be in English, Spanish, and Russian. I know my audience isn't very large in Russia, but maybe one day, who knows?
The lunch was absolutely amazing. All you can eat and fresh fish. We were also accompanied by these wild iguanas. I was completely fascinated by these. The only thing to ruin this experience was the screaming children at the iguanas. Yes, we know, we can all see them. This tends to happen a lot of the time. I start recording myself talking and forget to realize how windy it can be. You cannot hear a word of what I'm saying, but basically I'm saying we're heading back to Isla Margarita. The following day, we went to another beach, this time to Playa Parguito. A quick explanation for those that don't speak Spanish. Parguito is a diminutive of the word pargo in Spanish, which is a type of fish called snapper in English. That being said, it would be rude not to have a snapper fish on Playa Parguito. I had a snapper with arepas on the side, which is a kind of South American flatbread made with corn flour. They are actually really easy to make, super delicious, and I like to make them quite often myself at home.
I did something stupid today and I forgot my hat. So I've been trying to keep underneath the umbrella and trying to keep cool, which is not too bad because I just jump in the water. Right now I'm going on a mini adventure. My plan is to climb up this little mini mountain here, but currently just chilling on the beach. Okay, it's not really a mountain, it's a cliff, but still, let's make it sound more epic than it is, I suppose. It's very hilly though. Have a look at this view behind me. Amazing. We're going to be super careful as we go up here. You can see all the rocks around here. Oh, we're getting there. So we're at this beautiful beach today, and tomorrow we're actually going to another island. And the island we're going to, I'm looking at it right now, so I'm going to spin the camera around. You can see it in the distance over there. And we made it back down.
Later that evening, we went for some drinks and I had a shawarma in a bar called Costa Bar. I have had the pleasure of having a London kebab and even a German kebab. Both are completely out of this world, and this was definitely up there with one of the best Turkish meals I have ever had. In fact, I had 2 of them. And on that note, thank you so much for watching this week's video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and until then, thanks. Hola buenas! Welcome back to our Venezuela series. In this episode, we go to a breathtaking island called Los Frailes to do some snorkeling. But of course, like any adventure, things don't go exactly to plan. Because today, I completely messed up and forgot to put sun cream on. I think you can already see where this is gonna go. As a result, I didn't even know it yet, but I was about to ruin the next few days for myself. Without any further ado, let's get started. Empecemos. Our trip started in El Tirano, a very beautiful beach, which up to this point we had yet to visit.
We are starting our trip early today in Playa El Tirano. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. And we're going to Los Frailes. We saw one of these at the start of one of our trips, but these are actually vultures. How crazy is that? As you can see, Nike are now doing boats as well. Absolutely fantastic. I wonder how fast this boat could go.
We set sail on a boat jam-packed and felt rather nervous by the big waves we were experiencing on our way to Los Frailes. You could feel your stomach leaping into your throat. Honestly, it really got your heart pumping.
As you can see, this island is very remote. There's not really much here, which is really nice. It's quite a nice feeling. Saying that though, it's not like it's overpopulated on Isla Margarita, but we can actually see Isla Margarita from where we're standing, and it looks a lot bigger from here, but maybe that's because this island's a lot smaller.
Snorkeling was an incredible experience and I cannot recommend it enough. Just make sure you pack your sun cream. For the love of God, pack your sun cream. Once again, we had some more incredible fish for lunch. The following day, I went to a restaurant for lunch, but apart from that, I have no footage. I was just too ill to do anything. Which then very quickly brings me into the next day, where once again, I did not record too much, as I was still recovering. But here are some more pictures of the food for you. And finally, we spent a day exploring another mall called La Vela.
Si no pregunta tu almohada, o los gritos que escuchaban los.
Inside the mall was a restaurant called Julia. It was potentially one of my favorite meals, which I often get in Madrid too, called Pabellón Criollo. This was an incredible experience and I really wasn't expecting to find a gem such as this in a mall. My friend told me that this restaurant used to be a nightclub many years ago. A nightclub in a mall, what?
Y si tienes gato no va a ser fiel. Y es sorry, si se puso buena la shorty. Se puso pa' ti pa' money. Pa' los chimas tiene la cone. Es que si el leito me pone. Estoy bien tragado, requete ambicioso.
Unfortunately, due to David's stupidity not to use sun cream in a country where it's 30+C every single day, we do not have any more footage for this video. However, I hope you enjoyed what you did see. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe because we still have another Venezuela video coming next week and more videos like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. Have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to put sun cream on and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.
Huh?
We go to Los Frailes.
And we're going to Las Frailes.
Los Frailes.
And we're going to Los Frias.
Frailes.
Frailes.
Eso.
And we're going to Los Frailes.
Hola, buenas. And we have made it to our final episode of our Venezuela series. In last week's episode, we saw how David forgot to put cream on and ended up bedridden for 3 days. But don't worry, he's learned his lesson. And in this episode, we are going to another island called Cubagua. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You are a walking $sign the moment you arrive at Punta de Pierdas. The moment you arrive, you are bombarded with people asking you if you wish to buy sunglasses and hats whilst wearing sunglasses and hats. Please, you can see I'm wearing sunglasses and using a hat. I only have one set of eyes and one head. I do not need any more. It was infuriating, I was tired, and it was still the morning, and I was being continuously asked if I wanted random things. It's all good though, once you get on the boat and you set sail, the hassling stops. Thank goodness. Arriving at Cubagua, I thought I had arrived in paradise. It was very beautiful and we enjoyed once again another super relaxing day at the beach. I think we're starting to see a pattern here, especially when you see the amazing food we had for lunch. Once again, another delicious fish.
And here we are in Cubagua. This will be the last island we visit here in Venezuela. As you can see, it's very remote again. Absolutely beautiful though. Every single beach so far here has been so idealistic, so beautiful. One thing I've noticed so far since being here is that there's no one here trying to sell you stuff constantly. I think that might be the first time, I'm not sure, but it's a dream come true really, because everywhere you go there seems to be people trying to sell you stuff. This is rather relaxing. I have to be exceedingly careful today because my back is still a little bit tender. I keep periodically putting my t-shirt back on in order to prevent myself from burning. Obviously still slightly burned, but you know, it's fine. As you can see, I'm wearing a protective shirt. It's fantastic, it comes right up to my hands. It stops me from getting burned. I've been wearing it periodically and I would highly recommend using it somewhere like this.
Más cerca quiero estar.
If someone said, imagine the most relaxing place you could, this would probably be it. This is amazing. The thing is, you can see that this was built for a lot more people. There's so many beds here, there's so much space, and yet there's not that many people here. And I don't know whether that's just because of the day that it is, but it is Friday. But you would have thought that this would be flocked with tourists. For a day experience, this was what, $85? It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. This is the kind of thing you would say, yeah, it's like once in a lifetime, you need to do it, right? I would do this all over again, for sure. Especially for the price. A woman came up to me before and said, massage? As in, massage? Do you want a massage? My answer would be yes, however, I've got a very badly burnt back. So no, not today, unfortunately.
Cada noche que te sueño son los brazos de otro man. Los dos en el cenicero y riéndose de más. Dime qué cambió. Es que para ti todo esto es normal.
Oye, vamos a tirar una cumbia con carajo. Vale.
Dale mi negrita, baby, baila. Ese cuerpito de tequila y playa. Quemadita en bikini soleada. Bien cabrón cuando baila rebajada. Ese bajo mueve tan chevy. Muy suelta con ritmo bien heavy. Tan prendida cuando me lo pida. Qué culazo cuando está encima. Dale baby, tíralo para atrás. Tira una cumbia con dale naldo. Moviendo la cadera como soltera. Perreando 50, otra manera. Ella, dale baby, tíralo para atrás. Perreando 50, otra manera. Ella. Te mueves sensual como terapia. Tiene todo lo que yo quiero como lap de rap. Y mi cumbia tiene un bounce con un flow bien chapi. Yo la canto para ti que como tú no hay copy. Préndelo y trágate el humo. Esta colombiana chimba le gusta como yo fumo. Sabe que me atrae, mami, no lo disimulo. Dejemos de charlar, ahora vamos a gozar. Me quitas mal de...
That evening, we went to a restaurant called La Mar. I had incidentally seen their Instagram account and was so glad to finally be visiting. It is beautiful, the food is amazing, and the staff are very polite.
My first proper evening out since I got incredibly ill. Really nice, really good meal, really good atmosphere. Would recommend, definitely would recommend.
The next day was our final day at the beach here in Isla Margarita. My friend intended to travel back to Madrid, Spain with me after spending 3 months with friends and family in Isla Margarita, and she wanted her final day to be with her family. I can totally respect that, but it meant we needed to make the most of this last day at the beach, but also be sensible because we would be traveling back to Madrid in the next couple of days. We went to the downtown beach club and had once again another relaxing day. The food here was also really good. So the way it works is they have multiple different restaurants and you can order from one person who will then go to the different restaurants and the food will come to you. You don't have to move, you can just sit on the beach, enjoy your space, and the food comes to you. So the cuisine can change completely depending on what you order.
This will be our last day on the beach. I've managed to find a space where there's no background music. I just thought I'd make this quick video to say thank you so much for watching this group of videos. I have no idea how many there's going to be, but I'm looking forward to piecing this one together. It's been an absolutely amazing experience, and thank you so much for watching.
In the evening, we went to a Mexican restaurant for a change, which was incredible. The atmosphere was really lively and they had a live singer. On the final day, I spent most of my time on the roof, sunning myself, hanging out with, by now, old friends. I tried a Venezuelan McDonald's. And watched my final sunset of the holiday. I was sad to leave this beautiful place. However, I didn't mind returning to Madrid. I didn't miss home. I felt so welcome in this amazing place that deep down, all I wanted to do was keep exploring. Maybe, just maybe, that is a trip for another day. But on that note, I'm so happy I had the privilege to experience this part of the world once more and fully intend to revisit at some point in the future. Thank you so much for watching this week's video, and I'll see you in the next one. How on earth am I going to live up to a trip to Italy and a trip to Venezuela? I actually have no idea, but I have some big plans and I hope to build on them for the future. Until then, see you in the next one. Thanks. Also, look at this hat. It's beautiful, isn't it? Oh, Venezuela. Yeah.